Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. Today, I want to take a look at another Action Bronson New Balance release. He continues to do his thing and make these crazy designs, and I am here for it. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Action Bronson New Balance 992s in the Digitalis Purpurea colorway. And since we're looking at a pair of Action Bronson 992s, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to throw this pair on. I have been wearing these a lot, and this was actually his first colorway on a 992. He drew inspiration for this pair from both Timberland boots as well as his love for New York teams, specifically the New York Mets as well as the New York Knicks. But I've been rocking these heavily here recently. I'm a big fan of the style. I love the comfort that we get from 992s. But let's get to the pair that you're here to see. I've really been looking forward to this pair. Whenever I grab the first colorway, the one that I have on feet, I grabbed those without hesitation just because I've been such a big fan of just about all of these Action Bronson New Balance collabs that we've been getting. And I knew that I wanted that first pair, but in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, man, I hope we see that purplish pink pair release as well. They're calling that one the Digitalis Purpurea. I have no idea what that means. If you know what the inspiration for this purple pair was, then throw that down in the comments. Typically, there's a pretty cool story that goes along with each of his releases, but I gotta admit, I have no idea what the story behind this pair is. I just thought they looked really cool, and I knew that I wanted them for my personal collection. One criticism that I had for his first colorway of the 992 was just that they were so expensive. I think they were $240 US for retail, but then you had to pay $25 shipping on top of taxes and that sort of thing. All in, I was around like $275 or $280, and that is a lot to be spending on a pair of 992s. That's a lot to be spending on any pair of shoes, if I'm being honest. But I was glad to see that when I ordered this pair, the shipping was free, so that was definitely some money off. I think all in, I was right around $250 for this pair, so it's still expensive, but not quite as steep as the last colorway. And just based off the look of them in hand, I do probably prefer this new colorway the most. I do plan on throwing these on feet at the end of this video, so stay tuned if you want to see what they look like on feet. I always recommend going true to size on 992s. I have really wide feet, but going true to size on 992s fits me perfect. If you want a really snug fit or you have narrow feet, you may want to consider going down a half size on 992s. This box has the same lid that we saw on the first colorway of the 992s, just a yellow lid, and it says BAKLAVA in that boxy font. And then the bottom of the box does have some BAKLAVA and New Balance branding, but it's just a cardboard color. The tag reads U992AC1, and like I said, I went true to size on this pair. And here we have the Action Bronson 992. These are very intense. I've been a big fan of New Balances ever since the 90s, and more recently, I've really become a huge fan of Made in USA New Balances. Every now and then we get a design like this, and it's just something that is unlike anything else that we've seen. I love the comfort of these, but I also just love how high quality the materials and the build on these pairs is. It does have the USA branding there on the back, and I also just like the feeling of buying something that's made in the USA. I'm just kind of old, I guess. I just think it's nice to be able to wear something knowing that it was put together for the most part here in the US. Sometimes whenever you get a suede material and it has a real bold color like this, you have to worry about it being ashy, but I am pleased to report that that is not the case on this pair. There's a couple different colors of suede or else nubuck on this upper, and it all just has such a nice, bold, bright color, and that was really what caught my attention as soon as I opened the box. I didn't expect these to be so bright in person, but I am so glad that they are. When I first saw images of this colorway, it really kind of reminded me of an ACG colorway, as as well as just reminding me of like jet skis from the 90s or even the late 80s. Just the combination of the pinks and purples, and then up near the eye stays, we get some kind of gray hints in with those purple colors. And on the heel tab, it's more of like a greenish blue, like a darker aqua color. And they really do just remind me of colors that you would see used a lot back in the 90s. And I can't get enough of that. On top of the fact that the 992 probably is my favorite silhouette that New Balance makes. I do prefer the comfort of these over 990 V6s, and I think this is probably my favorite silhouette from New Balance, with a close second being the 990 V4. For a lot of people, it probably seems like it's not a very wearable colorway, but I plan on rocking these heavily. And actually, the colorway also reminds me of a pair of Viotechs that I have from Nike. This is the Viotech Air Trainer 3. I think these came out 4 or 5 years ago, but you can definitely see that these are close in the colors at least. I rock these so heavy, I don't wear them much more anymore unless I'm doing yard work or taking the dog out or something like that. They are officially beaters now, but I wore the heck out of these, and a lot of people might think that this colorway is hard to rock. Whenever you wear such a bold colorway like this, you kind of just have to let the shoes be the focal point. You don't really want to try to match your outfit to these, because in that case, you'll just be looking like the Pink Panther. But looking at the outsole, we have this really hard rubber, and most of it is just black, but we do have some blue accents. And then at the midfoot, we see the 992 and the New Balance branding. And on the heel, we actually see that it says Endurance. That's just the rubber that New Balance uses on their outsoles. It's very, very grippy, and it lasts a real long time. Then as we come to the midsole, we do have some gray gel-like areas that have some Absorb branding on it. There you can see one at the heel, and then we also have one up here at the forefoot as well. But surrounding that, we have a khaki, almost an olive grayish kind of color for the rest of the midsole, and you can see that between the heel and the forefoot of the shoe, it actually gets a little bit lighter as we move up. Without a doubt, my favorite thing about this pair is just this really bold purple suede. It's the kind of material you would expect for a made in USA New Balance. It feels very premium, it looks very premium. They're going to be very soft on feet, very comfortable. I am just a huge fan of what they gave us on these. You can see a ton of back and forth movement on here. A lot of times that's hard for me to capture, like it has to get just the right angle, but just take my word for it, these things are incredible. We see that bold suede wrap around the whole base of the upper. Towards the heel, we do see some BAKLAVA branding on there, and that's in like a bluish color. I also just noticed it looks like the stitching is almost like a gray color, like it kind of matches the midsole area, and I think that's just a nice little contrast on the shoe as well. We have a reflective N on the sides of the shoe, and that matches this bold suede color. We also have some reflective 992 accents and USA reflective accents here towards the heel, and that's kind of in like a pearlescent color. If you move that, then you can see different colors in it. It's a very nice touch. This lighter pink overlay that we see here on the toe box and then up by the collar, that's all reflective, and that is a synthetic material, but I really like the color contrast that it gives between that bright pink and that deeper purple. At the base of the tongue, we see a pearlescent reflective hit again, and as we go up the eye stay area, we see varying shades of purple, and once again, it's a very premium material. It feels like it's either a suede or a nubuck. The base of the shoe is a very breathable mesh, and it's in this honey brown color. I really like the contrast that that gives between all the purples and pinks. I just think it's perfect. It almost makes it feel like more of an earth tone shoe, and I think this is a pair of shoes that you can wear through all seasons. I will not wear these in the wintertime when there's snow and salt on the ground, just because I won't want to stain up this premium feeling material. However, I think the colorway could be worn with outfits throughout the year, and I always like when you get a versatile pair like that. Some people probably laugh at the fact that I called this a versatile colorway, but literally I could see myself wearing this with just about anything. The base of the tongue is a gray breathable mesh, and then at the top of the tongue, I can't tell if that's synthetic or a genuine material, but it's a gray color, and we get our New Balance 992 branding there. We only got one set of laces with this release, and they're similar to the style that we see in every pair of Action Bronson New Balances. It's a rope style lace, and it's kind of striped, but it's a gray and a white color. I think they'll be a really nice contrast to all these bold colors on the upper. I also didn't mention these come with 2 tags on each shoe, one New Balance tag and one BAKLAVA New Balance tag as well. It looks like our sock liner is black, and then our insole is black, and it's got that neon green BAKLAVA and New Balance branding on it. All right, well, that was a pretty quick look at these Action Bronson New Balance 992s in the Digitalis Purpurea colorway. I still would love to know what that means, and I swear sometimes he names his shoes intentionally so that people have a hard time saying it. Maybe it's just because I'm from West Virginia and I have a hard time saying just about everything. But anyhow, I really love the way these look in hand. I'm going to hurry up and lace them up and throw them on feet so you all can see how they look. We'll talk about sizing and that sort of thing, but for me, New Balance 992 sizing runs pretty consistent, so I'm pretty confident true to size is the way to go. All right, so I got them on feet, and I am a huge fan, just as I expected. True to size in the 992 is perfect for me. Like I said, I do have wide feet. If you have narrow feet or you want a really snug fit, maybe consider going a half size down in the 992. But for me, as a wide footer, going true to size is perfect. As for the style and the look, I absolutely love it. They definitely grab attention. I was asking my wife inside which colorway she preferred of this shoe, and she really couldn't decide. She said the orange ones reminded her of hunter safety vests and that sort of thing, but I feel like these might be just a little bit too bold for her. But anyhow, I just really like how bright they are, and I like the fact that they get attention. And like I said, I would just wear a more muted outfit with them, and I think they'll go with just about anything you want to wear them with. I really like the way these came out. Don't be alarmed if you hear gunshots in the background. It is hunting season here in West Virginia. As this wind is blowing, I can feel the breeze going right through this mesh, so that is one thing to keep in mind. You might want to wear some thicker socks if you're wearing these in the cold weather. I love digging out my corduroy pants when it gets fall time. Like always, we'll hit you with that top-down POV. Love the colors on these things. And another thing about 992s, they don't feel real heavy, but they hold up like tanks. The sun came out. That's one thing I noticed about this pair as well. It seems like the difference in the sunlight makes the colors on these look way different as well. Alright, well, hopefully that was enough to give you a good look at these Action Bronson 992s. I'm a huge fan of how they look. I know they're pretty crazy, but that's right up my alley. I plan on rocking these a good bit. Let me know what you all think about these. I appreciate you all watching tremendously, and I will catch you all on the next one. I'm out.